Welcome to the Candle Business Coach Podcast, a show about the craft of candle making and small business. I'm your host, Kirsty Allen, and I'm a candle maker, mum of three, and kindness advocator. Join me as I dive into all things candles and small business and deliver advice and tips to you in episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Are you on the list to get my daily motivation emails? Every day I'll send you a message that is designed to help keep you focused on taking action toward your goals. Sign up using the link in the show notes. This episode is brought to you by my free ebook, The Candle Business Marketing Kickstarter Kit. Inside this free ebook, you'll learn to identify your blocks of time to dedicate to your candle business. Plus, there are several tips and tricks for re-engaging past customers and attracting new customers into your business so you can grow your business and reach your goals. Check out the link in the show notes for your copy. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. Today I have the beautiful Zemi all the way from America. And one of the things I love about the podcast is that it's connecting different people from all over the world together. Now, Zemi is a candle maker, so today's episode will be a candle maker conversation. But I'll let Zemi talk about herself and how she got started with candle making. So did you want to introduce yourself to the listeners?
Sure. Hi, guys. So I'm Zemi. I started candle making probably about 2 to 3 years now, but I started seriously running my business really only about 6 months ago. It started as a hobby, and then it just became like this love for like the whole business aspect behind it. So here we are today.
I love it. And do you want to tell listeners what your company's called?
Yeah, so it's called Vibe with Candles. You can find us on Instagram, and it's the same link for our website as well, Vibe with Candles.
Perfect. And what made you decide on that name? What was the origin story?
Yeah, so my sister, she's 2 years older than me, and she, during COVID, she started running her own crystal selling company online, and she was very successful with that, and it was very inspiring. And I kind of needed a very creative outlet for myself. I struggle with a lot of anxiety. So I always need like little outlets here and there. So her company is called Vibe with Crystals. So it originally started as a sister brand for my sister selling candles with her crystals inside of them. So it started that way. So I kind of just did a play off the words vibe with candles instead of crystals, and it just kind of stuck.
I love that. I love that you started something because you were inspired by your sister and also realized within yourself, you had that self-awareness to know that you needed an outlet to work on your own struggles as well, which I think is so important. And a lot of people don't necessarily take that leap into creating something, but you've done that and you've got a successful business now because of that. So well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, yeah, a lot of people get paralyzed by their anxiety, or they don't really know how to cope with it. You know, therapy is a good way to do that. There's different outlets, but for me, I've always been very creative. So I think candle making, period, is a very therapeutic thing for a lot of people, whether you're making a business out of it or not. So I'm actually very grateful that I found that.
Yeah, definitely. And as you say, it's very therapeutic and enjoyable and relaxing. And to be able to create something from, a number of raw ingredients and then create a beautiful product that you can enjoy. Not only is the process so relaxing, but then when you burn a candle, you don't just burn a candle and then, leave the room and then don't come back. You normally either like have a bath, or you'll put your feet up and read a book on the couch, or you'll light a candle after you've cleaned your house. It brings you home and it brings you back to yourself. So to be able to not only produce that, but enjoy the process as well, it's one of the beauties of this art.
Yeah, I think lighting a candle itself is an experience. It's not just like a product that you're selling to someone. You're giving someone an experience, and you really don't know what it sounds like it's just a candle, right? But you really don't know what people use candles for. That might be their nighttime routine after a really long day of work, and that's their escape, and they have a specific scent that they light every night, and scents create memories, right? So you think you're just making a candle and you're just creating candles, but you really are creating like this outlet for people to escape. So I think candles are a lot more powerful than just a candle.
Yes, definitely. And I think we would both agree that the obsession with making candles and enjoying them is very real.
Oh yeah, I make too many candles a day, and I don't even need to be making that many. So
yeah. So what was the process like when you first started your business?
Yeah, so oh my gosh, I'm still in this one bedroom apartment and I had no idea what I was doing. I started off on YouTube, which I think a lot of people start off on, just a basic 101 how to make a candle. I invested in myself and I just took a whim and I went on, I think, Amazon, and I bought like a little stovetop oven that I still have to this day that I just burned my fingers on the other day. And I had like, I think maybe one pound of soy wax and one of those little 1 ounce fragrance oils. And I just kind of combined everything and obviously took my time with the video. But I used to make candles when I first started my business on the floor of my apartment. Not recommended, but that's how I started. And it's crazy that now I'm doing it in a larger space and it grew. But yeah, everybody starts somewhere. I literally started with 1 ounce, 1 pound on the floor with a mini stove in my apartment. And that's how I would bang out my candles. And it worked for a little bit, you know?
I love
Everybody
that.
starts.
It's always so interesting hearing different people's origin stories with how they started making candles, because
Yeah.
everyone's experience, I mean, we all go into it with such a passion and an excitement and an anticipation of what's to come. But then
Yeah.
the actual logistics of, oh, I need to make space to be able to make these candles. I need the stovetop, or I need the stove to be able to make, like, melt the wax or buy a wax melter. Like, there's these different stages we go through as we grow through our business.
You know, I was just listening to another podcast the other day where it said candle making is one of the most, it takes the most space as a business. You have so many things that you need to combine to make a candle. You have, I mean, when you're growing, right? You have pounds of wax, you have a bunch of different fragrance oils, all of these things, and you never really think about that. So you really, when it comes down to it, if you're going to grow, you need space. So yeah, you can start in your apartment, but if you're really going to get the ball rolling, candle making takes space. So that's where I am now. I'll still like dabble in my apartment if I want to test or whatever, but to really go making a bunch of them, I'll have to use that office space. So yeah. Yeah.
So when you think about how you actually run your business, how do you prioritize what needs to be done?
Yeah, so that's very interesting question. So I kind of, like I said, I really like kicked into gear about 6 months ago. So I'm really going through the motions now. So I think this is a very interesting conversation because usually as you know, I'm a fan of your podcast. So usually when I'm listening to your episodes, you're talking with maybe more experienced, people in the business. And I'm experienced now. I'm very grateful to be experienced now, but I am still going through those motions of starting up my business. I just put up my website a couple months ago, so now, right now, when you're first building a business, it's an endless amount of things that you can do. Like you don't have to sleep if you don't want to. There's always a task to get done. So I'll just write it out. I'll write out if I have an order that I have to do. I'm a preparer. Like, I like to make the candles in bulk. So even if I don't get an order, I'll have that collection of like 20 candles available or up to like 100 candles available. And I'll just stock them so that if an order comes through, I'm not running around making a new candle. So I know a lot of people make to order. I cannot work that way. I have to get them done before and then I kind of stock them and I go through there and I just write things down as I go. I'm a very sporadic person. I don't have like a very clear cut to-do list. I tried that for 2023 and it's just not my personality. So, but it's working. I'm still alive.
I love that that was one of your goals for 2023, considering we're recording on the 30th of January. It didn't last
Yeah,
very long.
it didn't work. So let me call myself out.
But at least you tried. Like, at least you
I tried.
recognized that you wanted to improve the
Yeah.
way that you prepare and the way you organize yourself. So it's good that you've got the awareness of that you're trying different things.
I'm significantly more organized than before. And also, as you know, once you own a business, you don't get to choose if you're organized or not. Like, that business is going to make you be organized. So I got a planner and I kind of put things in that way. But I kind of know my brain works. Like, I know what I have to do. So, and like I said, there's always a task that you can do. So I'm never bored.
No, that's right. There's always something to do. And it can sometimes be overwhelming with the amount of work. And I use the term work loosely because it's a passion. It doesn't feel like work most of the
For sure.
time. But there are times where is just so much to do. And you sort of think, well, what's going to move the needle in my business the fastest or the most?
Mhm.
What should I work on? And whether that's, fulfilling a customer order, testing more candle products or new fragrances, or whether you just work on your marketing and your emails and your social media. there's so many different directions that you can be pulled. And as you say, like feeling organized and getting organized in your business is essential to be able to stay on top of it all.
For sure. And I will say it's very easy, especially if you have like a natural creative side to you. It's very easy to get swept up in sort of like the arts and crafts part of making candles. And all you want to do all day is make different designs and different labels and different colors. And you want to play with it because it's fun. But at the end of the day, you still have to focus on that business aspect. And that's something where I've grown as a person to understand. Because for sure, in the beginning of my business, I just liked the actual physical act of making a candle, right? It was very therapeutic. But if you're going to make a business out of it, you have to focus on getting that website to work, making it user friendly, working on your customer experience, being approachable and kind to your customers and things like that. And you don't particularly put that top priority when you first start a business. All you want to do is make fun looking candles. But as a person, I've definitely grown to understand that the business aspect of it is just as important because your customer has to trust you and you have to come off like you know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a bunch of things going on and you just kind of have to like do this like, all right, what's my priority today?
Yeah, that's right. And I actually don't know the answer to this question, but do you work or study outside of candle making?
So I got my bachelor's degree in biology actually. And then I just took some time off with that because that wasn't my true passion. I do truly believe now that entrepreneurship is my true passion. Not believe, I know. I've thank God found my passion now. But I did so weird because a lot of the science aspects that I got from my degree, the organic chemistry, all of that, I'm like, I feel like I'm back in college. Like I can't escape. So I can't
Yes.
use my degree.
Oh, I love that. No, the
Yeah.
reason I ask is because, as you can appreciate, many of the listeners either work outside of making candles or have young families. And one of the struggles that they come up against is the time factor and not
Sure.
having enough time to be able to dedicate to their business. So they might be very organized. They might know exactly what needs to be done. They might have enough funds to be able to support their business. But with a
Yes.
lack of time, it makes it really difficult to actually, carry through and to work on the things that they want to actually work on in their business. So it's interesting how everyone that I speak to has a different journey and a different path into candle making. And then you should only compete against yourself in terms of
Sure.
how your business is growing and whether it's working in a way that, um, is in alignment with your own values as well.
Yep. I'm very blessed because I took the time. I made the executive decision upon myself to do candle making full time. And some people disagree, and some people, some people think you should always be funding it, right? You should always have a method to fund your business. You don't want to fully just like go into it with $100 in your bank account and just think it's going to take off, right? But thank God I'm doing this now full time. And it just gives me that drive because when you're really focused on one thing, you can really hone in on trying to make it as successful as possible, And I think that your candle business grows in the amount of time that you put into it. So if you're only putting in like a couple hours here and there, it's not really going to grow as much as if you really put your heart and soul into it, whether that means taking more time or, maybe on the weekends trying to figure out if when you can do more time on your candle business, things like that. But I think the more time you put into your passion, the more it's going to grow and the more people are going to appreciate it as well.
I couldn't have said that better myself. Just the time that you invest, the energy that you put into your business, it comes back to you. So if you're only putting in a small amount and only getting a small amount back and wondering, oh, why isn't my business more successful? You need to look at how you're actually performing inside your business and whether you're actually giving more energy and more time into your business.
My motto in life, and everybody who talks to me knows this, is I walk around like my candle business is the most successful business in the world. I carry myself like I'm the most successful person in the world, and not in a cocky way, right? But no one is going to believe that your business should be successful if you don't believe it's successful. So I walk around like I have $1 million candle company, because it truly makes you believe and manifest that for yourself. You can't walk around like you're half doing your candle business and it might work and it might not. I walk around like my candle business is really going to just take off and be the best thing that's ever happened. And in turn, things show, people only believe what you put out, and energy is very big. So people can pick up on if you believe in your business or not. That's just my motto.
No, I love that. And I completely agree. I feel like the energy that we carry ourselves with, like you say, is so important because that's the energy that people become receptive to and that they pick up on. So if you're
Yes.
able to like have that self-belief and not arrogance, like you said, like it's not cocky,
Yeah.
it's just you've got that self-confidence, that self-belief, that self-assurance that what you're doing is the right thing, it's in alignment with your values, you believe it to the fullest, then why wouldn't it be successful? Because the actions you take based on those beliefs you have will get you to your goals.
Yeah, I believe truly, and I'm a very deep person, but I truly believe, right? We're only given one life. So you have to live it to the absolute best that you can. And you have to do everything that you can. I've had so many times where I've done my candle business, and my sister knows this, right? Because my sister saw me grow from nothing. I would start the candle business and then I pull back. Oh, but it's not going to be successful. Start the candle business. Ah, but am I going to make any money doing it? And then when I literally just got out of my own way, and I just sat down with myself one time and I said, look, you're either going to do this or you're not. Candle making takes a lot of money to build. It's an investment. So you can't just put some money into it. You're investing into it. So I just sat down with myself and I said, I'm going to do this and it's going to work. We can't keep telling ourselves that it might not. No, it's going to work. And then the day that I made that decision, seriously, I just went full blown with it. And I just am convincing myself that it's going to work, and I'm convincing others that it's going to work, and in turn people are trusting me and people are enjoying the product. And it's really just the energy that you put out. You have to believe in your business and then it will be successful, and that's all you can tell yourself every day.
And it is something you need to tell yourself every day. It's
Mhm.
not because our mindset is hardwired to keep us safe. We want to stay
Yes.
in our comfort zone and not actually try new things because that can be scary. It can be overwhelming. And the fear of failure is almost as strong sometimes as the fear of success. But that's another whole topic.
So
But it's
don't
but
get me
it's important, yeah, but it's so
started.
important to have that self-belief and work on your mindset daily. It's not something that you can sort of dabble in. You need to wake up as you know as best you can and start the day on the right foot, because that'll dictate the actions that you take throughout the day. If you're
Yeah.
feeling like, what's the point, my business, I haven't got a sale this week, and you carry around that sort of negative energy, then you're less likely to take action in your business to move your business forward. But if you
Yeah.
wake up and think, okay, I've had no sales this week, that's okay, I'm still going to work on my social media, I'm still going to work on my marketing, and push
Yes.
yourself to do those things, then that's how you get the momentum to get the success.
Yeah, you have to put blinders up. That's what I always say is you literally have to put blinders up. There's so many things in life that are going to pull you into the wrong directions, and there's so many tests that you're going to go through, especially when you're building a business. I think truly it is one of the scariest things that you can do. You don't have anyone telling you what to do. I never went to college for business. I went to college for something completely different. Nothing I'm doing has ever been discussed with me. So everything I'm learning is trial and error, and I fail a lot. I fail a lot. I've made so many mistakes, right? But if I allow those mistakes to just stop me in my tracks, everything is going to just crumble. So you have to really put blinders up and just say, this is my business. This is my baby. I have built this from nothing. I should be proud of that alone. And then how successful it is up to me. And you just keep moving forward. Seriously, that's how I imagine myself, with blinders on every day.
I love that. It's such a good way of looking at approaching business and life, is to not get sidetracked by the things that don't matter, the shiny objects that can pull us away, but really focus on your goal, focus on what you want to achieve, and just go for it. Because if you put that energy in, if you go in 100%, you will find success. It may
Yes.
not, it may take longer than what you initially thought, but maybe your
Yep.
timing was just off, and that's okay. We've got one life, as you say, and it's important to go all in so that when we're older and we can look back on our life and go, well, I have no regrets. I've done everything that I possibly could do. And I'm proud
Exactly.
of myself. And being proud of yourself is such a powerful motivator to achieve more and more.
Yep, that is so true. That's also exactly how I think every day. I'm like, I don't want to become older. I'm only getting older. I hit 25 this year and I had an existential crisis. Like, how did I get here? Like, I blinked and I'm 25, but I hit 25 and I always feel like my brain works a little bit like I'm older than I actually am. But I don't want to keep going through these birthdays and looking back on like, well, why didn't I start that last year? Or why didn't I just do that last year? Obviously easier said than done, right? Like you're saying, people with families or 9 to 5s or whatever it is, easier said than done. But you have to look at the bigger picture. Like really, truly look at yourself at 75 years old, as dramatic as it is, and say, will I be proud of the life that I built when I was young and able-bodied? You know what I mean? You have to be grateful for everything that you can do. The fact that I can move and make these candles is a blessing. So you have to just look at it like that and just try. All you can do is try. If your business fails, you should be proud of yourself that you even tried to do that, because building business, it's huge. It's huge. That's how I think.
Yeah, and it's not easy, and not everyone will take the leap into trying new things, particularly with having a business, whether it's a candle business or a crystal business or something else. It's challenging. It is really hard. You need to work on your personal mindset and your personal growth, as well as the professional and business growth as well. And I feel like many people start their business because they're just so obsessed with candles and they love the product and they want to make them and learn everything about them. And then when they realize, oh, if I want to make this into a business, I have to continue learning and growing and educating myself. That can be a barrier for people because they didn't realize that this was going to be so hard and so challenging. And if anyone's listening and is considering starting a business and thinks, oh, I don't know if I will now because it is going to be challenging, don't look at it in that way. Just look at it as a journey of growth. It's a lifelong experience. What you'll learn along the way will challenge you and change you, but it's so worth the journey.
Yeah, agreed. I think that just that alone, what you just said, that alone, that growth should be a motivating factor. Like, yes, you will be able to make these beautiful candles and do something that you're passionate about, but you should get excited about growing as a person. I've truly hit like peak growth this year. I'm really being serious, because when you build a business, it opens up the most vulnerable parts of you, because you don't know what you're doing for the most part. Most starter business owners don't know what they're doing. So you have to face the ugliest parts of yourself. You have to face the parts that don't know how to do the financial parts of your business. I don't know how to build a website. I learned. I didn't know anything, and then when you show yourself that you're capable of those things that you never thought that you can do, you're like, wow, I'm a lot more powerful than I ever thought that I was. And that alone should be a motivating factor to start a business.
Yes, so true. I'm sitting here nodding to everything that you're saying because it's true. Like I so agree. Like having that inner motivation to grow and learn, that can be a barrier for so many. But if you can push through that, the growth that you experience and how you feel about yourself on the other side, and as you keep reaching new levels, it's an incredible feeling, and you're filled with so much pride and joy about how you're growing. And as there's a saying, new level, new devil. And so the mindset challenges never end, but you become stronger, you become more adaptable, you figure it out, and you become a whole new version of yourself. When you look back, you go, wow, I really have had a lot of growth in my business and in my life.
Yeah, it brings on a lot of self-love. So if you're struggling with that alone, I truly not just like jump in and start a business, but if that's something that you struggle with, because I've struggled with that, everybody has struggled with that. Especially, in our young, at least for me, in my young 20s, it's been the most growth I've ever done in my life. I had no idea what was going on with my life for a while. And so you struggle with that self-love and that self-purpose, and starting a business, again, like I'm saying, don't just like start it, but it will bring on that sense of purpose. It brings on a sense of purpose and that sense of self-love, because you don't realize that you're capable of so many things until you turn that like little negative switch off in your brain, and then you become so much more powerful than you ever think that you could be. So it's truly a beautiful experience, honestly.
And you make beautiful candles as well. So it's a win-win.
No, yeah, right. You get a beautiful product at the end of it as well. So it's a win-win.
It is. So tell us about the biggest win that you've had in your business so far.
Oh my goodness. The biggest win. Honestly, I would say it's my first website order. There's so many wins. I had a lot of wins. I had a few wholesale orders placed, and as you know, those are really exciting because you just get to sit there and make hundreds of candles. And you're realizing that a larger company trusts you to make a large amount of product for them. So that's one win. I don't know if I can pinpoint one, but I just know that for me, the website was one of the biggest learning curves for me. I've never touched anything like that in my life. I didn't hire anyone to do the website or anything. So going in and kind of learning like the little ins and outs of the website was a really big mind block for me. And I was getting very frustrated and upset because I thought I couldn't do it, but I've built a semi-decent website for myself. And doing that was a really big win for myself. And then seeing an order come in, right? Like always when you see a customer trust that you have a good product, I think in any business, that's a huge win. You're like, wow, someone really believes in this. Like I made this in my basement and now someone is going to put it in their home or as a gift or whatever it is. So I would have to say the first order on my website was like extremely exciting for me.
And it's so like the feeling that you get, especially when it's someone that you don't know. And you can just
Yes.
imagine, like, you know, you might have been doing something else, like you might have been making candles, or you might have been sleeping, or you might have just been, you know, living life. But this
Yeah.
person has gone onto your website, they've gone on a journey, they've looked at your products, they've fallen in love with them, and then they've actually clicked add to cart and
It's
buy.
great.
It's
It's
just,
crazy.
yeah, it's the best feeling, because now you can enjoy the next stage of the candle process, which is packing the order, packing it with love and writing a note to say thank you, and sending it off and going, wow, like this is how it works. This is full circle
Yeah.
now. And it just brings so much, yeah, you just feel so proud of yourself and what you've achieved.
Yeah, no, I remember I had like my first, so I do live shows on Instagram as well, if you don't know, and I'll sell my products through there as well and on the website. So I was actually doing a live show when I got that first order in, and you could just like hear my excitement. It's recorded, it's on my Instagram. But then after that, I had like quite a few orders come in or whatever, and I had my first large amount of boxes to take to the post office. And I just like took a picture of it, and I'm like, I would have never thought that I would have random strangers to send my product out to. It's truly mind-boggling, you know? You can't take it for granted because how saturated is the candle industry? It's
Yeah.
saturated. There are candles everywhere you look. Why are your candles sticking out to someone that they felt the need to use their hard-earned money on it to buy your candle versus somebody else? You have to really be grateful for that and thankful for that, you know? So
Mhm.
it was a great experience.
Especially when we know that people can buy their candles from the big stores for a lot less money. So when someone connects in with your product and they're willing to spend a bit more money on one of your candles, yeah, you've just got to have that gratitude and that thanks to go, yeah, I've made something of, like, from myself.
Yep.
And yeah, you just hope the very best will come from that purchase for that person.
Yeah, I've definitely struggled also in the beginning, like with pricing. I've had like quite a bit of a struggle, like kind of understanding what my customer would want to spend. So we did a lot of markets, and there were times where I wouldn't make any money because, you know, people might have thought that my candles were too expensive. And then the next day I would knock the price down by $2 and they would sell. So you kind of have to play with your pricing, but you never sell yourself short. You always price at this is what this candle is worth and this is why. And then when someone agrees with that and puts that order in and confirms that for you, you're like, ah, okay, this makes sense. And I don't doubt myself, you know, like everything is going on for a reason.
Yeah, that's right. And the whole process of having a business is tweaking it, figuring out
Mhm.
what works, seeing what doesn't, be willing to try new things, and just pivoting and moving along with the flow of the business so that it can be as successful as possible.
Yeah, you have to be flexible. You might think that, I mean, you might go into it wanting to make, you know, $30 on your candle because you think that that's what it's worth. And whatever you think it's worth is what it's worth at the end of the day. However, you know, if your customers aren't receptive to that, it's okay to knock it down by $5 or $2 or whatever it is and bring in more customers because at the end of the day, this is people's hard-earned money and you want them to love your product. You don't want them to feel like they're being strapped. But also on the other side of that, you need to price your candles at what you think that they're worth. You know, you have to carry yourself with worth, and then people will believe that as well.
Yes, so
Yeah.
true. So
Yeah.
true. And it's also interesting, I've found with some candle makers, if they price their candles really high and they still sell, they'll get feedback from their customers to say, oh, I haven't lit them yet because the candle is too special to burn. And at
Mhm.
the end of the day, you have to wonder, well, why did you buy that candle? Is it just to sit and be a decor item, which is totally fine if that's how you want
Yeah.
to decorate your
Yeah.
home. But then you don't want them to not enjoy the candle and not light it and experience the hot throw because they're
Yes.
thinking that they're wasting the money. But it's not
Yeah.
wasting, it's just enjoying the product. And yeah.
It's an investment. Candles are I heard someone say candles are a luxury, right? They're not an essential. You don't need a candle. Candles are a luxury. So if you want to feel that self-care and that luxury, you're going to have to light your candles or you use them as decor. People use them for different things, but yeah, you go through that process of making it. You want people to enjoy the full experience. So again, that's a learning curve. It's a very fine line of like, how do I price my candles so that it's fair? for me and the consumer.
Exactly. That's right. As you said before, like you don't want to, it's not a race to the bottom in terms of the pricing of your candles. You don't want to get into the mindset of thinking if my prices are low, I'll get more customers, because it's perceived value as well. And as long as you're being mindful of, what your costs are to make the candle, if you want it to be a viable business, you need to price your items accordingly and trust in your worth and the worth of your products as well.
Yep, I agree. It's so true.
When you start your candle business, there are so many things to consider and research along the way, especially when it comes to choosing the right suppliers. Long Story Short provides all your design and printing needs, from your logo and branding to designing and printing your product labels. The quality is exceptional, the customer service is amazing, and prices are very reasonable. They're the only label company I recommend, so check out their website or send them an email today to get started. hello@longstoryshortdesign.com.au.
Have you had any challenges in your business so far?
Oh my gosh. The whole business is a challenge. My biggest challenge would be to get customers. I think that's a lot of people's biggest challenge, to get random strangers to buy your product, because word of mouth, like through friends and family, it's not too hard, right? Like, oh, Zemi has a business, let me support her. But getting random strangers to support your business is very difficult. So it's been very hard because, as you know, you have to do all the social media marketing by yourself if you don't have someone. If you don't know the ins and outs of marketing, you have to learn that by yourself and kind of play with it and hope you're going to get views. So it's tough for sure. You have to make all this content that you might think is really great, and you spent hours on it the other day, but then it only gets 100 views and not a single product sells. So getting those customers to come in and actually purchase the product, I think, is the hardest part for sure. It's a struggle.
Yeah, it is. And you could have all the time in the world to make candles and to learn how to run your business. But if your products aren't selling, you need to have a hard look at your business and figure out why, and pivot and learn and keep growing and not give up and not see it as a failure. It's just a temporary roadblock into becoming more successful with your business.
It's very hard right now to break through. As I said, like the candle business, this shouldn't deter anyone from starting a candle business, but I mean, it's true. How many candles do you see a day? The candle business is a very saturated business, but it's also one of the most profitable and one of the most growing businesses. So it's something that you should get involved with, but just know that your candles need to stand out, and whether they reach the algorithm on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is up to that and how you push your content. But your product needs to stand out amongst the millions of other products that there are out there. So that's hard. You have to figure out a way to make that work. I think now I figured, like, if you go see my candles, they have a very specific look. You'll see my label and you know that I designed it because they all kind of look the same in a certain way, and so that's kind of my signature. So you have to find your signature and why it stands out and why should people buy that as opposed to the one next door for $2,
Yeah, that's right. And having that confidence to continue creating content even when you're not getting the sales, and having that belief that it will work for you. It's not just mindlessly creating content. Like, you still have to be strategic and you still have to be clever with how you do it. But having that faith and working through the mindset is a huge part of the challenge.
Yeah, it's a mental game. You have to be your biggest fan. You might have the best partner, you might have the best parents, you might have the best friends that cheer you on and believe in your business. If you don't believe in your business, I assure you it's going nowhere. You have to really do the self-work and say, I'm going to make these candles, and if they don't sell, they're going to sell tomorrow. They're going to sell the next day. I've had numerous collections where I'm super excited about them, right, to put them out. And then, maybe I don't have enough followers, or maybe it didn't reach enough people, or maybe it reached the wrong people. You don't know. You got to make a new collection and just keep going and just pretend it never happened. And then maybe next year, relaunch it in a different way. It's always, always, always a learning process, always.
Yes. And one of the benefits of candles is that they don't expire. So you don't have to sell it by a certain date. They get better and better as time goes on. Yeah, that's right. So it's worth, just learning as you go and building a little bit of hype along the way, making sure people are aware that you're about to launch a new product or a new collection, rather than keeping it all secret and then go, oh, here, I've got a new collection. You want to take people on the journey with you so that they can get excited with you as well. And you want to share that excitement and that joy that you're experiencing as you're creating something new. And that's how people connect in with the story behind your messaging.
That's so true. I think it's also like along the lines of that. I post a lot of like the behind the scenes of how I make the candle, or like my messy office space or things like that, or my messy inventory or fails or whatever it is. A lot of like the most, and I'm not saying the purpose in life is to go viral, but a lot of the most viral videos are people's fails through their business, because people want to see raw, real, what goes behind that business. It puts a person behind the business. Because you can buy from a big company in the mall any day, but buying from someone who owns a small business has its ups and downs. And being able to see that and the process behind that is what makes people more intrigued, you know?
Yeah. And it connects them, it connects your followers, it connects your customers in with you as a person. It becomes, you become the face of your company, which can be, again, another challenge when you find that some people don't want to show their face on social media.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate on one hand that it is scary to show your face and to potentially be judged or open yourself up to criticism, not because of how you look, but just the way that, you know, the fact that you're making a business and trying to do something different with your life. But if you hide behind the camera all the time, you will find that you'll struggle just that little bit, because people want to get to know you and the face behind the brand.
Yeah. There's a saying that keeps popping up everywhere I go, is your fear of looking stupid is holding you back. Not that anyone would ever look stupid, but your fear of looking stupid is holding you back. Meaning like, will the people that I went to high school with judge me now that I have a candle business? Like, I'm not really selling any products. Are these people going to laugh at me? Who cares? Literally, who cares? Like, the only person you should be concerned about is yourself, you know? And you're very, very right, because I know the second I put my face to my business, I got a lot more people interested in me, not again because of the way I look, but because now there's a human being behind the business, and now they can connect, and now we can be friends. And now if I have a problem with my candle, I know that you're going to help me out with it. You know what I mean? It's not just a big company, because too many big companies exist, but small businesses with someone behind it is very charming, you know? And that's what makes a business grow, is the person behind it.
Yeah. And we want to see, you know, the average person succeed. And if we're going to spend money on products, whether that's candles or anything, I know for myself, I'd rather support someone that I feel connected with, even if it's just through social media, than just a random big store where they're already making millions of dollars. They don't need my money. Like, I'd rather support a small business where I know that it's directly impacting and making a difference.
That's so well said. Yep. Directly impacting. That's so true.
Mm-hmm. So I'd love to know, what are your goals for your business? Where do you see yourself in the future?
Oh my goodness. My goals right now, it's such a general statement, but my goal is to just grow. This is a very semi-new, I've been doing it for 2 to 3 years, right? But I've only really honed in on the business aspect of it about 6 months ago. So it's pretty new. So just the growth of it. It's kind of amazing where I am already, because if I were to look back a year ago, I would have been like, no, you're kidding. Like, I don't actually have a candle business. I was just kidding. But the growth of it, I'm starting to, you know, push it into stores here and there. The growth of the website would be really nice. More users on the website. That would be amazing. My favorite thing in life is packing up those orders. And then to do more markets, because you can put a face to your customer, and that's really, really nice. Just the growth. Like, I'm just not going to stop, you know, like I'm not going to stop until never, really, truly, because you're never satisfied, you know? So it's just going to keep growing. So I'm just excited to see where we are. Check back in with me in a year.
I will. I'll put that in my calendar.
Yeah. Mark it down right now.
So what do you think is the most important strength someone would need to be successful?
For me personally, and I think that a lot of people can resonate with this, is patience. I had patience, but I didn't have enough patience. You truly need an immense amount of patience to run a business, because it's a really great idea to start the business, right? And if you believe in yourself, you can see where you're going to be in 10 years. But if those 10 years come around and you're not there, it's very, very easy to just pick up and let everything go and say, well, it didn't work, and put your hands up. So you have to be patient. Things don't happen in a month. You know, some people get lucky, and that's great. But truly, like, the real behind the scenes of a business is patience. You have to let it grow. You have to let it do its thing. It has to be organic. You know, you don't want to force your product into people's face if they don't like it. You want your consumers to come to you, and that takes patience. Everything takes patience. You're going to screw up a bunch of candles. They're not going to work. You're not going to be able to release them on the date that you thought you would. You're not going to sell out at that market like you thought you would. Your website's going to crash. There's so many things that test your patience. And if you're able to really sit with yourself and say, okay, I need more patience, let me actively work on this, you're going to see your business do a little bit better, I think. That's me talking to myself, by the way.
Well, luckily for you, we're recording this, so you can listen to it again.
Exactly. I'm gonna be like, listen to yourself.
Oh, that's so good. No, I love that, because being patient, having patience is a skill, and it's something that you constantly work on. It's just one of the many things that we work on as small business owners, and having the patience to just deal with the different challenges that we come up against. It's just part of the journey, and it helps you grow personally as well as professionally.
Yeah, it's an acquired skill, I think, too. I think a lot of people might have more patience in the beginning, but if you have a really crazy life around you, it might test your patience already. So when it comes to your business, you might lack that. So it's an acquired skill. You have to actively work on it every day. You have to just really become zen and trust the process. Like, chances are your business isn't going to blow up in 2 months, 3 months, a year. So you have to set yourself up for success, you know, and be realistic and enjoy it. Like, enjoy every day, because like, I don't think it's as rewarding if your business just blows up overnight and you didn't go through those trials and errors. You know, the trials and errors is what makes your business beautiful, because you built it from nothing. So I think you should really sit in that and bask in it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you want to grow alongside your business as well.
Yeah.
If your business blows up, like you say, and you have that immediate success, well, where's the personal growth? Where's the journey for you? If you're not growing alongside your business won't grow. And that's just what normally happens to most of us, is that your business will grow as fast as you personally grow. You know, and you can read books about mindset, you can read books about productivity, you can read just general books about growing as a person and going on that personal journey, in addition to learning how to actually function, how to get your business to function as well.
Yep. No, it's true. You have to really just set yourself up for success, and just be patient, and just be really appreciative that you can even do this, that you're even able to do this, you know? And when you look at things from that perspective, you really take it day by day. And you're like, you know, some people aren't gifted to do this, or some people aren't able to do this, you know? And I am. So let me be thankful for that. And that helps. That mindset helps a lot.
Having that attitude of gratitude is huge.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So what's your favorite thing about what you do?
Oh my goodness. I think the creative side, I think I found, well, I've always been very creative, but I think I found like a new passion for physically creating something. Like, I really do enjoy the labels. I create all the labels myself. So I like playing with the colors, and I match it to like the wax and things like that. So the creative side like that is probably my favorite thing. But then on the other side of that, as we've been talking about, the self-growth. I'm very proud of myself from the growth that I've made just owning a candle business, right? It sounds like it's just a candle business, but no, it's an investment in yourself, and it's taught me things about myself that I would have never known had I just not done this. You know, it's opened me up and made me really look at myself and appreciate myself for things that I wouldn't have appreciated myself for, say, last year.
And then you have to wonder how your life will look in another 12 months. And when you look back to today, how much growth that you will have had. It's just, for me, and I'm sure you would agree, it's very exciting to know that we're on a path of growth, and that there is so much potential. And I know that for me, like, one of my biggest fears in life is that I don't want to look back and realize that I've wasted my potential. So it's something I work on daily to make sure that I'm doing the most that I can, the best that I can, and growing as much as I can, not from a place of fear, but from a place of self-love, and knowing that as long as I just do what's in alignment with my values each and every day and push myself a little bit each day, then the potential of growth is just huge.
Yeah, that's so true. Again, like, you have to look from that point of view of, where am I going to be in 30 plus years? Like, am I going to regret the decisions that I made? Like, you might be young now, you might not. Some people start a business at 60 years old, but they're planning for their future as well. They want to be 85 and say, hey, I did what I always said that I would want to do. It doesn't matter the time frame I did it at, but I don't regret anything because look at me now. I did that. I did that. You have to live your life to the fullest. And part of that is doing the things that freak you out. Like this is a terrifying thing that I'm doing right now, let me tell you, but it's really beautiful because now I can say that I did it. I at least tried it.
That's right. And to be able to look back and know that you've tried is just so important.
It's huge. Not a lot of people can overcome that, which is okay. But if you can, you should pat yourself on the back because it's hard.
It is, yeah. I mean, as challenging as a 9 to 5 is with its own challenges, this is like its whole next level. But it's because you're working on yourself as well as your business. They go hand in hand.
Yeah. And chances are you're usually the only one working. If you don't have employees or people working with you, chances are you're the one doing everything by yourself. And that's terrifying because you're not a marketer. You're not in finances. You don't know how to build a website, but you're going to learn because you're passionate about this business. And that's a really great thing.
And we live in a time where we do have access to the internet and Google and being able to find the answers. It's just knowing what questions to ask. And
Yes.
you'll figure that out as you go along because you'll come up against a roadblock in your business and go, oh, why can't I, do ABC? All right, I'm going to figure out how to get past this. So then you go and you research or you ask someone or you find a mentor or a coach or someone that can help guide you through. Yep. And you figure it out. You do work it out. It just takes time.
The biggest thing for me is, I always try to know everything, meaning like I always try to I'm a learner. Even when I was in school, I always loved learning and I wanted to know everything, get all this knowledge. At the end of the day, you're not going to know everything. You're going to need to take those steps day by day. Like you're saying, maybe get a mentor or maybe look it up on YouTube. I didn't know what I was doing when I first started, and that's okay. You have to look at yourself and be like, you know what? I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm going to be open to allowing someone to teach me what to do. And when you allow that, you bring in a lot of knowledge and then you become more knowledgeable in general because now you're opening yourself up to things that you wouldn't have before,
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And often what can happen is if people have that assumption of, oh, I should already know this, I should already know how to do this. So I don't, so I won't continue. Exactly. And it's such a disappointing way of looking at it because it's such a closed mindset. You can't possibly know everything. And depending on how old you are, some people are still in school, some people have young families, some people are in retirement age. Depending on what stage you're at is going to determine how much life experience you have. But that doesn't mean that you don't have an opportunity to continue growing and learning along your journey.
Yeah, you just have to be open to learn. You have to be open to learn, and you can't beat yourself up for not knowing everything. Like owning any type of business, I think, is kind of stepping into the utmost unknown. So you're going to have to learn those skills from somewhere.
That's right. And luckily, as we say, like we've got access to, free resources online. You just need to know what to search for. Yeah.
Yeah. Make YouTube and Google your best friend, I promise you.
Yes. Use them as your mentors until you find someone you can connect with. Yeah. So what gives you motivation to keep going when things inevitably get tough?
I don't want to say I'm my biggest motivator, but I'm my biggest motivator. I want to look at my life, like I say, when I'm older. I think very deeply. I don't know what it is about me, but I always think about like 20, 30, 40 years ahead of my life. And I want to plan for a life that I love. I truly believe we only have one life. Crazy things happen to people every day, right? Like the fact that you're here right now is a gift. So what are you going to do with it? And that's literally how I think every single day. I'm gifted with this talent to be able to make candles. I have hands to be able to make candles. I want to use that today so that if anything happens in 1, 2, 10 years from now, I had that privilege of being able to do what I love. If you're able to look at life through that lens, you're going to be a lot more grateful for what you're doing. And that's just my biggest motivator is that I'm gifted right now. I'm able-bodied. I have hands that work. I have a brain that comes up with ideas, and I'm going to use it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I'm going to use it and I'm going to try my very best. So when I'm older, I can be like, wow, I'm really proud of myself.
Yes, I love that. It's such a beautiful way of looking at life in general, just having that mindset of I'm able-bodied, I have a mind that works, and I'm going to use these gifts, these privileges that not everyone has, to make something of my life as well.
For sure. And that goes for everything. You don't have to even set it out to be like the most successful business in the world. Let's say someone is picking up candle making as a hobby. Do that hobby, try new things. Because in like 10 years from now, you might not be able to. So try the things that scare you, try the things that you want to do, because you won't be able to at one point, At least you can say you did it.
Yes, and not have any regrets looking back.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. How do you define success?
I think success, oh, that's so hard. I think success equates to happiness for me. And no one in life is ever fully happy, right? Like there's always things that are going to try to stop us. Well, let me not say that. Some people might be very happy in life, but some things are always going to try to stop us from reaching that full happiness potential. But I think success equates to happiness. Like if I'm happy, I'm successful. It doesn't really equate to a number for me or how many orders are being put in. If I'm happy with the way my business is running, if my customers are enjoying my products, if I'm still able to put out products, there's still a demand for them, I'm going to be happy. That's it. I think that being successful is just being happy to me.
I love that. I've asked that question to most of my guests, and pretty much everyone says the same thing. It comes back to being happiness. And it's true, because if you can look inward and be happy with who you are as a person and what you're creating for the world and what energy you're putting out, then that is success. It's not saying something arbitrary like if I make 10 grand months or 100 grand a year, then that's success, because that's outside of yourself. You need to look inward and really figure out what success means to you. And that is happiness.
I think those are goals, like the monetary things you're speaking of. I think those are goals. I don't think that, at least for me, defines success. I think those are small goals to equate to me being happy. But if they don't happen, I'm not going to not be happy,
Yeah. That's right. You're not basing your happiness on something outside of yourself.
Correct. Yeah. I think it always comes down to yourself, always.
So as you would know, being an avid listener of the podcast, there's a certain section that I enjoy asking my guests 3 questions about candles. So number 1, what is your favorite candle fragrance?
Oh my gosh, I should have done my research on my candles before. It was fun. I'm going to say right now, I put out a Valentine's Day collection, and I have 2 very feminine, cute scents. One of them is fruity candy and one of them is pink sugar. So those are my favorite right now. That's just what I've been smelling every day. So maybe I'm biased, but right now, like my Valentine's Day collection, I really like the way those smell. They're really cute and feminine.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Number 2, what do you love about candles?
I like the ambiance. I like that at the end of the night, I can light a candle and it brings me down and it brings me back to reality and to peace. I like that. I can turn all the lights off and you still have that lit candle. It really just brings an experience. So I like that. I know a lot of people connect with the scents and the memories, and I agree. But for me, it's just the fact that the light is coming from the candle, and that's super soothing to me.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
And then the last question is, what is one piece of advice you'd like to give to candle makers during their journey?
I think work on your business, but if you can't tell, I'm a huge fan of working on yourself. You have to work on yourself. If you work on yourself and you make that the priority before the business should be a priority, but yourself should be the first priority. If you can look at yourself every day and say, hey, what do I need to work on today? Like, what am I lacking? Why did I get frustrated yesterday when that candle didn't work? Self-reflection is huge for me. You have to be able to self-reflect, and you have to be open to growing as a human being. Once you do that, you're the driver of your business. So like you said, your business is only successful as your mindset. So if you can really connect with your mind and say, let me really be the best self that I can be, your business is going to grow with you. So just work on yourself every day, and then work on your business too, but first work on yourself.
And that goes for anything in life as well.
Yeah.
Prioritizing your self-care and your mindset is something that not everyone does, because it is confronting at times.
Yeah.
But if you're able to look inward and trust that the process is worth the journey, then you'll just fly with your growth.
Yeah, it's actually quite scary to look at yourself. We do a lot of things to get away from it, It's a lot of people have different vices to get away from themselves, but at the end of the day, if you can be mature enough to look at yourself in the eye every day and say, this is the last body that I'm going to get, let me get really comfortable with it and let me really love myself for it, then anything you touch, whether it be a business, whether it be a hobby, whether it be whatever it is, anything you touch after that is going to come from a place of love, and people are going to see that. You can't start your business from a place of, I need to make money. You need to start your business from a place of, this is love, and put your love into it, and people are really only going to see it for that.
Yes, definitely. I'm sitting here nodding. I feel like I've been nodding the whole time.
I've been nodding, so.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart so much for being a guest on the podcast. I've really enjoyed our conversation, and I just know that the listeners will get so much value from our chat today. Where can they find you if they're wanting to connect in with you?
Yes, so I'm Vibe with Candles on Instagram, VIBE with Candles, and then our website handle is vibewithcandles.com. I'm very active on Instagram. If you want to see my face, that's where you can find me, and then all of our products are available online.
Perfect. So I'll put all of your details in the show notes as well, so people can connect in with you. And I always love getting feedback from the listeners in regards to the different episodes we have. So any feedback that you want to share with either myself or Zemi, definitely do that, because we love to know that it's not just the two of us talking. But even if it is, I loved it. It was such a beautiful conversation. So, but hopefully at least maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 people might listen. Lovely. Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it too.
Thanks everyone for listening today. I hope this episode added value to your candle making journey. Check out the show notes for all the links mentioned throughout today's show, and please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks again for listening. Have a beautiful day.